welcome. Today we're going to go through a short 15 to 20 minute practice. You can do anytime when you just feel like you need some yoga. Let's begin. Come to hands and knees, and then sink your hips back to your heels, knees spread wide, big toes touch. Drape your arms forward, child's pose. Rest your forehead on the floor. Allow yourself to be centered, grounded. And breathe. Inhale. And a big exhale. Do it again. Inhale. And on your exhale, let something go. Come up to hands and knees. Square your knees underneath your hips. Shoulders. Step right on top of your wrists and draw your shoulders down your spine. Pull your lower belly in to get flat through your back. And then curl your toes under. Press your hips up to the sky, downward facing dog. Press your chest wall back to your thighs. Feet are hips distance apart. Hands are shoulder distance apart. And spread your fingers wide on your mat. Take a big breath in. And then a long breath out. Ha. Lift your right leg straight back behind you, as if you're trying to root the sole of your foot on the wall behind you. The extension for your right leg, and then press your left heel down deeper towards the floor. And switch sides. Right foot comes down, left foot rises, heel presses onto the wall behind you, chest wall presses back, thigh of your standing leg presses back. And step. Left foot to left hand, right foot to right hand. Feet are hips distance apart. Grab your elbows underneath you, soften your knees. Let go, ragdoll. Your head, neck, shoulders go. And then soften your knees. Drop your hands down. Toe heel your feet together to touch. Inhale, sweep your arms up overhead. Exhale, hands through your heart, fold forward. Lift and lengthen, long spine, crown of your head forward, draw your shoulders in. Plant your hands, walk your feet to the back of your mat, high plank. Heels rise up to the ceiling, belly pulls up in and shoulders down. Low plank. You can come to your knees here, like this if you need to. Upward facing dog. Tops of your feet, thighs lifted off the floor, or cobra's an option, thighs down. And then curl your toes under, downward facing dog. So we're building sun salutations. These are a great way to warm up, build some heat in your body. Look between your hands, and then walk or you can hop to the top of your mat. Lengthen halfway. Fold, head to your shins. Inhale, eyes high, fingers up. Exhale. Fold forward. Lift and lengthen. Plant your hands, feet to the back of your mat for a high push-up, and then lower down. Upward facing dog or cobra, downward facing dog. Take a big breath in, and a long breath out. Try to take about 3 breaths between your sun salutations and downward facing dogs. If you want more of a workout, just take 1 breath. Look between your hands on an exhale. Walk or float. Top of your mat. Halfway lift. And fold. Arrive in chair pose. Bend your knees to 90 degrees. Take your arms up overhead. And square your knees over your ankles. Heels stay heavy on the floor. Toes are light. Look forward. Then start to turn your gaze up. Take your tail down towards the floor. Draw your shoulders down. Breathe in. Exhale. Fold. Lengthen. Plant your hands, feet to the back of your mat. High push up and lower. Upward facing dog to downward facing dog. Step your right foot to your right hand. Outer edge of your back foot down onto the floor. Heel through the outer edge. Lift the inner arch. Step your right knee over your right ankle and lift your arms up overhead, warrior one. Start to square your hips forward by pulling your right hip back into your hip socket. And then breathe, look up at your hands, big inhale. Plant your hands down. High push-up to low. Upward facing dog to downward facing dog. Step your left foot forward. Back heel of your right foot down on the floor. Knees stand over your ankle. Take your arms up. Left thigh pulls back. Move it towards parallel to the ground. And then look forward. Start to turn your gaze up. Hands plank. Step back. High push-up to low. Upward facing dog. Chest wall forward, shoulders down. Downward facing dog. We'll go through this sequence on salutation B one more time. Chest wall back, move forward, walk or float to the top of your mat, lengthen, and fold. Chair pose, bend your knees, hips sink down, shoulders down towards your tailbone. Exhale, fold forward. Lengthen, plant your hands, jump, or walk to the back of your mat, lower. Upward facing dog to downward facing dog. Right foot, warrior one. One breath, fill up. And one breath, go down on your exhale. High to low. Up dog. Downward facing dog. Step your left foot. Warrior one. Rise. And then plant. Step back. And lower. Up dog. Downward facing dog. Big breath in. And a long breath out. Take your right leg back behind you. This time bend your knee. Spread your toes and stack as if you're trying to stamp your wall onto the opposite side of the room. Breathe in, open your hip, open your side body. And put your foot down, take your left leg back behind you. Bend your knee, stack your hip, open. Big breath in. Smile. Put your foot down. Again, lift your right leg straight back in extension. And then sweep your right foot to your right hand. This time, keep your back heel lifted off the floor. Take your arms up overhead. High lunge. Crescent lunge. Squeeze your hamstring of your back leg up to the sky and bring your front thigh parallel to the floor. Take a huge breath in and a long breath out. You can always drop down to your back knee. If you're struggling, hold up here. If you want more amplification, raise up and then bring your breath. Breathe in. Hands plant down. High push up to low. Upward facing dog to downward facing dog. Extend your left leg back behind you. Bring it all the way through. Take your arms up overhead, crescent lunge. Squeeze your hamstring of your back thigh. Bring it up to the ceiling. Then raise your chest up. And breathe. Left thigh parallel to the mat. Breath in. Breath out. Hands plant down. High push-up to low. Upward facing dog to downward facing dog. Take a huge breath in and a long breath out. Walk or jump to the top of your mat. Lengthen. Fold. And rise all the way up to the stand. Sweep up with your fingertips. Exhale. Fold everything down. Lift and lengthen. Plant your hands. Walk your feet back. Lower down. Up dog. Down dog. Step your right foot forward. Warrior one. This time we'll open up for warrior two. Arms go parallel to the ground. Hips square towards the opposite wall. Gaze is forward. Deep lunge to your right leg. And then counterbalance that with your left. Outer edge of your foot pressing down into the floor. Big breath in. And a long breath out. Reach forward with your right hand, straighten your right leg. Take your right hand down to the floor, to a block, and then lift your left. Stack your shoulders to up, triangle pose. Pull back through your right thigh and take the crown of your head and whole spine forward. So get extension in one direction with your torso and your hips shift in the opposite direction. Take a big breath in, then a long breath out. Now look down at your mat, plant your hands down, bend your front knee, hop your back foot slightly forward and wide. So you want your feet like on railroad tracks, wide on the mat, and then square your hips forward, fold down, pyramid pose. For this pose, if your hands can't reach the floor, take your hands to your hips, square them back behind you, lift your elbows as if you're pulling them together. Take the crown of your head forward, extend. Few more breaths here, deep opening for the hamstring. And then take your hands down, step back high to low push-up. Upward facing dog to downward facing dog. Bring your left foot forward. Warrior one on your left side. And open up for warrior two. Hips square towards the wall into my side. Take your gaze forward. Lunge deep into your left leg and then shift your weight forward with your torso. Pull your left leg back. Take your left hand down. Triangle, Trikonasana. Left thigh bone pulls up and into my hip. And then look up. Look down at the mat, plant your hands. Bend your left knee and then step back foot forward and fold, pyramid pose. I like to take my hands to my hips to guide where my hips are in space. You want your hips square down towards the mat like headlights. Both hips stay level. And breathe, opening up your hamstrings. Breathe in. Breathe out. One more in. Let it go. Both hands plant and step back. High to low, up dog, downward facing dog. Come forward to high plank, and then lower all the way down to the ground. Take your hands, interlace your fingers behind your head. Tops of your feet down on the floor, and on an inhale, lift everything that's possible from the floor. Take the pubic bone and press it down into the floor. Shoulders draw back and breathe. Great strengthener for the back body. Breathe in. And exhale, take it all down. Arms by your sides. Turn your head to one side. Again, bring your chin to the mat. This time, interlace your fingers behind your back. Rinse the shoulders. Press the hands back to your heels. And then raise everything up. Toes pull back to your shins. Chin slightly tucked towards your chest. Breathe in. And bring everything down. On your exhale, hands by your sides. Chin to the opposite side. Place your hands underneath you. Press up to upward facing dog or cobra. Downward facing dog. Chest wall back. Head between your arms. Walk your feet through your hands. Come down onto your back. Bridge pose. We'll just do this one time. If you want more, you can do bridge a couple of times. Pull your heels in towards your hips. Your heels stay hip distance apart. Wrap your shoulders underneath you as you press down into your feet. And then shimmy your shoulders even more underneath you. Clasp your hands. Use your thigh muscles to draw your torso higher. Back of your head on the floor. Chest wall presses towards your chin. Breathe here. Few more breaths. Stay here. And calm down. Take a breath in. And a big breath out. Let's go up again. This time I'm going to go up into wheel. You can stay with bridge, or you can take wheel pose to back bend. Take your hands back behind to either side of your ear. Bend your elbows. and then press down into your legs. Squeeze your thighs onto your bulge, press up. It's like adult playtime yoga. Press your hips up to the sky. Draw your lower back long underneath you. A couple more breaths. Stay with it. And bring everything down to the floor. Extend your legs long in one direction, arms in the opposite direction. And bring your knees into your chest. Squeeze tight. And take your hands into the outer edges of your feet. If you can't quite reach your feet with your feet up towards the ceiling, knees to the opposite, to your sides of your torso, you can take your hands back behind your thighs and pull down. Get your shoulders to wrap underneath you, and then try to move your sacrum so you're hold back from the crown of your head to your tailbone is down on the floor. Then use the press of your hands into your feet, feet into your hands to get deeper into this pose. This is called dead bug. If you want to rock a little bit side to side, do that. Honor where you are. Then again, hug your knees into your chest. Give your spine a little massage. Then come to stillness. Stack your left knee over your left ankle. Your left knee over your left hip. Take your right ankle over your left knee and release into reclining half pigeon. Press your knee away from you and then pull back towards your chest to get a deep stretch through your gluteal muscles, your hip rotators. And the more you press your right knee away from you, the deeper the stretch you'll feel through your glutes. You can stay here as long as you like. I'm going to switch sides now. Bend your right knee, stack it over your hip. And then cross your left ankle over your thigh and pull in. If you get your hands right behind your knee, I like to use my elbow of my bent leg, of my left leg, and press my knee away from me to get a deeper stretch. Flex your toes. Stay here as long as you like. I'm going to move on, hug my knees in my chest. Squeeze tight. Then drop your knees down to the right side. I like to take my right hand to my thigh and pull it down. And left arm, twist, shoulder wraps down towards the ground. And then turn your gaze over to your left shoulder. Deep stretch the lower back, outer thigh. Use your breath to deepen a little bit more. And come back through center. Take your knees down in the opposite direction. Right arm extends. Right shoulder wraps. Both knees into center. Take your legs long on the mat, arms by your sides. Final rest. Shavasana. Wrap your shoulders underneath you. Take your palms open and close your eyes. Resolve to be in Shavasana for as long as you like. At least 2 minutes and preferably closer to 5 minutes. This is a time that you let your practice